Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a Second Star interview. Today, I am here with author Courtney Shannon Strand to discuss her picture book, her new picture book, Hollyhock Hill. You could purchase this book by visiting the link below or hopefully wherever books are sold. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Yeah. So, not only is Hollyhock Hill the perfect fall story time for everyone to read, it is also such a fun title to say. Like, as I was prepping for this interview, I just kept typing Hollyhock Hill and saying it because just it rolls so nicely off the tongue, and I love alliteration. So,
Yeah,
what
same.
is Hollyhock Hill? Did you make it up, or is it like a special place to you?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the story itself was made up because I like to write little jingles and catchy things and a lot of alliterations and onomatopoeia sounds in books. But the story was actually based off of my husband and my father-in-law, my husband's father. They're both big gardeners. And when I say they're gardeners, I mean like we live in the Northwest and you can't grow apples in a lot of places.
Yeah.
They grow on the east side of the state, but not the western side of the state. And my husband and father-in-law put an apple tree in our backyard and they placed it perfectly against the house where there was heat, and we have more apples than we can keep up on, and it's been 3 years now. So
That's amazing.
I I was watching my husband one day trying outside gardening, and there are pesky animals, and then you get the neighbor cats and different things coming in the backyard. And I was washing dishes in the kitchen, just watching it all unfold. And he was moving water around and watering things. And I just thought, gosh, that would be such a cute kid's book. So it gave me the visual, and then I was able to write it.
So is your husband Farmer Phil then?
Yeah, it's inspired on him. Yeah.
And I see a Farmer Phil behind you. So did you
Yeah.
make that yourself or where did you get that made?
Y- You guys, this is Farmer Phil, and this gets made by, it's called Budsies, Budsies.com. If you have kiddos, if you have a drawing of something that you love, you can submit it with your parents' help to Budsies, and they will create a doll for you, and they'll make them in different sizes. So I do this size because it does really well when I go in classrooms and things. So yeah, and Farmer Phil's unhappy because remember there was a little bandit in his garden eating everything.
Well, the art in your picture books are not only lovely, but they're a lot of fun and capture the story like Farmer Phil's expressions throughout the book. With this being your third book with Jenica Lansbury, what is that author to illustrator relationship
Oh
like?
my gosh. Thanks for asking that. No one ever asked us that. We are a team. I mean, it's
Yeah.
from day one we hit it off and got along so well, and we treat each other with such kindness and respect, and we help promote each other's books because like I said, she works on other things and then she'll share my stuff, I'll share her stuff. But our working relationship is usually we start off it's about an 18-month process, and we'll start off with some Zoom meetings. I'll give her the manuscript, and she'll give me some character development drawings, kind of give me an idea of the color palette and things like that. And then from there, we have different what we call milestones of things that she will get done and that I will review in a certain time frame. And we volley back and forth perfectly like tennis players. It's really nice. And even though she's in Canada and there's a 3 hour time change between us, we still make it work. Sometimes I won't hear something till the next day, or she won't either, but no one cares. I mean, we're just trying to be creative in the process. And I let her have full art direction on the books. If the only time I ever intervene is if it just doesn't match the wording. A good example of it in this book, the only edit I had for her when she was first drawing was when the garden was fizzling. It looked like a full garden in the picture. So I just said, maybe we take some things out of the garden. And she goes, oh, yeah. I mean, because she's so into the creative process, she doesn't always match it to the words, which is fine. That's my job to catch that, you
Yeah.
know? So
You become almost the editor for the art.
exactly. So, but yeah, we have a lovely relationship, and it's been really fun. She's done some fun surprise artwork with my husband's help to surprise me. So, like, I have a huge Ella's umbrella on my wall, and
Oh,
I have a mock up of a drawing of I used to play a board game with an older woman in Montana as a kid, and my husband had her draw it in her style. So it's really cute. Even
that's
my
so
husband gets
sweet.
involved. So, because he loves
Oh,
her stuff, he thinks her artwork is so cute.
yeah, I was looking at some of it online and I saw she had a Peter Pan piece, and with our store being named after the directions to Neverland, I
Yeah.
was like, "Ooh, do I need to reach out and be like, hey?"
Yeah, yeah, and she's so friendly, so you can reach out for sure.
That's good to know. So, are you two working on a fourth book that you can share with us?
Yeah, so we're thinking by next fall we're going to get started on. It's called Big Blue Sea, and I love alliteration. As a kid, I loved it too.
Hey,
Um,
Hollyhock Hill.
yeah, exactly. But we're this book is more of a concept style book, so it's going to have numbers and colors in it, and it's going to help parents with younger kids because my books start from 3 to 7 or 4 to 8. I wanted to jump back and give you something for when they're a little younger, so then I have a full repertoire to offer them. And I'm currently working on a middle grade book about my mother's Native American family, but it's a fictional book. So
Oh,
so that's where I'm going to pivot after the concept book. I'm trying to do it so kids and families that love my books can grow with the books.
I love that. That'll
Yeah.
be amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So it's been said that you should write what you want to read or want to hear. So, what did you find missing in stories that you wanted to develop in your books?
Oh, that's an excellent question. The one thing that I found when I was growing up as a kid, my dad was a very successful businessman, so we moved a lot. But we moved so much that I went to 4 or 5, I think it ended up the last count was 5 different elementary schools. So what happened was I fell behind in reading and everything else I did okay but reading, my teachers noticed I was illiterate basically, so I had to stay after school and on the summers and work on reading. And I found the books back then, and this would have been the 1980s, the books that had sort of musicality to them are the ones that helped me learn to read. And so that is why I write in that style. So I can write in that style with jingles or with poetry, whatever it might be, but I like to write in that style because I know that that keeps a certain child's interest. And that was me. I was one of those children for sure.
What a good answer. I like that. Yeah, because your books are very musical and it's fun to go on the journey with it.
Yes.
Well,
I have an Aunt Joellen that told me Chase the Rapper should read Ella's Umbrella. And I was surprised she
that
even knew who that was. So
that would be amazing. We need to put out like a blast call for that to happen.
it
Yeah.
was very funny.
I love that. Well, your books center around being a part of the great outdoors, experiencing the weather, enjoying like the rodeo activities, and then now with Hollyhock Hill, even gardening and farming. So is that where we can find you? Are you always enjoying the beauty of the world?
Yes. So I live in the Pacific Northwest, just south of the Canadian border in a town called Bellingham, Washington, and we get a lot of rain here. So the rain is what inspired, and same in Seattle. I lived in Seattle a long time. We get a lot of rain, and so that's what inspired Ella's Umbrella. Then I grew up in my formative years in Montana. I was also born there. So I grew up going to all of the rodeos, and as an adult going to visit aunts and uncles and still attending the rodeos. And so that's what gave that one. And then I literally, if I showed you my backyard right now, you would see it's so lush with vegetables and plants and flowers growing because my husband is just such a green thumb. so yeah, I'm outside a lot. I've been a big runner and rock climber and hiker my whole life, and I do a lot of cycling. So yeah, I'm very active out, and I love it outdoors. I don't belong to a gym. My gym is outdoors.
Well, when we get you to Colorado, we can do some fun hiking as
Oh,
well.
fun. That would be wonderful.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. Well, Courtney, I could talk with you for very much longer, and I see we're hitting it off, and I have been enjoying my talks with you even before the interview started. So thank you for
Same.
being a wonderful conversation partner. But I always like to end with one final question, and that is, what piece of advice would you give our viewers?
Oh, okay. So a piece of advice for parents, I'll
Okay.
give two. So a piece of advice for parents are to go to a bookstore and choose 5 different style picture books And when you read them to your children, figure out what they're liking, because you're going to notice the kids that like the musicality books, and you're going to like the kids who like the slow, methodical story. And then you'll kind of know what they'll go for. I learned this from working in the children's department at Auntie's Books. And so that was a nice trick to teach parents, especially when they're little and you're trying to find out what they like, but make sure they're all completely different. So then you'll know what they engage with. And then for kiddos, my advice for them is when they like a book, that they should write the author and tell them that they like the book, or their parents can help them write the author, because we love that kind of feedback. We don't know who's enjoying what out there. It's nice if you let us know.
Oh, I love that. Well, you heard it, kids. Please write to Courtney once you read Hollyhock Hill, and maybe throw in a couple alliterations in your letter to
Yes, that would
Courtney.
be so fun. I love it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Courtney. I really appreciate it, and I cannot wait to have Hollyhock Hill in my hands. And
Wonderful.
yeah, and hopefully meet you and Farmer Phil soon. So,
Yes. Thank you, Sophie. And thank you from the bottom of my heart to Second Star to the Right Books, and for the parents and kiddos that watch this video. Thank you for joining us.
oh, thank you.